Well, hello, Emmanuel family. We're here with some exciting news and some updates. As most of you know, on November 19th, we had Kyle and Esley Dwyer here for the weekend. Kyle was here as a candidate for a resident teaching pastor. So we want to share some news with you and also some thoughts around that. First of all, thank you for the feedback, the thoughts, the prayers, the questions that you generated following Kyle's visit. And we'd like to share some news with you and also give you a little bit more insight information. First of all, so as not to bury the lead, we want to let you know that we are moving forward with Kyle as our resident teaching pastor. He will be joining us in January, so we're very excited about that and having him join the Emmanuel team. We also want to just give a little information about the teaching team model. Those of you who have been at Emmanuel for the last few years know that we have heard from multiple teachers on Sunday mornings. We've been so blessed by Joe and Nate and Brian and Iswa and other teachers. We will continue with the teaching team model. And that teaching team really means a couple of things. One, it means that we have a plurality of teachers. One teacher is not teaching every week of the year, but rather we're hearing many voices. As we make this change, we will have maybe a change in the frequency, and Kyle will be doing more of the teaching, but we will continue to have teaching from multiple teachers. The second part of that teaching team that we think it's really important to understand and even understanding some of the feedback and questions that we got is that the teaching team takes a very intentional approach to the teaching process. And they work together to give feedback, to develop one another's teaching skills, and also to talk about generally what's coming up in the sermon and to provide that feedback. And we think that's an incredibly important part of the process for all of our teachers. But certainly for Kyle as a younger preacher and teacher, as he joins us, we're looking forward to that developmental process taking place. Certainly input from veteran teachers like Joe, Brian, Nate, Iswa, etc. And there's other members of the teaching team that provide feedback also. So that's going to be happening. We also want to clarify, a couple of questions came in around what is the resident teaching pastor and how might that be a little bit different from the teaching pastor role. Well, the resident teaching pastor role is one that's slightly more developmental in nature, knowing that Kyle is a younger teacher. A couple of things will be true. One, he will not be teaching as much as the teaching pastor would have, but rather teaching more alongside Joe and Brian and Nate. He will be an apprentice elder, and he will also be a member of the Sunday teaching or a member of the Sunday team. So that's a little bit about what that role is. As he gets acclimated to who we are as a church, joins our team, comes alongside of us, and understands truly what our mission is here at Emmanuel in Gurnee.
Thanks, Steve. I think that one of the things that's really important is the time and the prayer that went into selecting Kyle as our resident teaching pastor. And though it's a departure from the teaching pastor role, what it is true to what we believe God is calling us to. And we believe at this time we're called to bring Kyle to us and support him and help develop him and help him to continue to grow in his teaching. So I'm really excited about the next steps moving forward with Kyle. What I like most about Kyle is his chemistry and his character. I love it about Kyle, actually, his chemistry and his character. And it's so important because oftentimes people join organizations and those things don't work well. And I think those things will work really well with Kyle. And he has a humble spirit and willing to grow and to be taught. And that's been my experience with him the entire time. He loves God. He has a heart for teaching. And I think, again, with the structure that we have as a teaching team and the development of the ability of people like Joe will go a long way in helping Kyle become the teaching pastor at some point. Joe, you and I were talking, and we were talking about what this means for you, and you expressed some excitement about that. I'd love for you to share with everybody what that is.
Well, you come to a point in your life where it becomes more important, actually more challenging, exciting, what you help other people to do instead of what you do yourself. And I'm certainly in that stage of life.
Yeah.
So I feel like right now I'm preaching better than I ever have. And at least my wife tells me that. If that's not true, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But that would be, at least in a large part, because I'm a member of the team. We all each of us preaches our message to the team that week, earlier in the week. And there's never a time where what we preach in a room stays the same for Sunday morning. There's always input from the others. And what happens from the platform on Sunday is really better and than it would have been if a person just by themselves sitting alone in an office created a sermon.
Right.
So already thinking of ways that Kyle and I could spend time together, maybe even taking some preaching classes or reading a book about preaching together, and he'll be a part of the team, and we will all grow together. We'll learn from him as we continue to learn from each other who are currently on the team and grow together. And I think that growth will be noticed.
I think it's great. The more I get to know Kyle and Esley, the more I love them, and the more I think they're an awesome fit for our family. And I think you're going to get to love them more and more as you get to know them as well. That we will be a blessing to them, and they will be a blessing to us. So we appreciate your prayers and support as we both come together to do God's will, and that is to love God, love people, and make disciples of Jesus Christ.
Hey, Emmanuel Church. This is Kyle and Dwyer and my beautiful wife,
Esley.
and I am so excited to be joining you soon as the new resident teaching pastor. Beyond that, my wife and I are ecstatic about being a part of a church family that we've absolutely fallen in love with. And we can't wait to be there with you. And we'll see you soon.